What's going on, guys?
Hey, good afternoon. And that's got to be Steve himself.
That is me.
How are you doing?
Good. Who all we got on this thing today?
Just looks like a few of us so far.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
looks like it might be a small crowd, which is great. You're doing well.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there.
Welcome, Candace. Welcome, Nate.
Hello.
Hello. And Dave Young, welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Great to see all you guys. We are going to get this show started here in just a minute. If you could just pop into the chat where you're from. See, I think trying to remember. Yeah, I think we got a couple different
Are you
states represented here today. I am based out of Oklahoma. I don't know if I see any Oklahoma people here on the call. Dave, I know you are in Ohio. Steve, I believe you're in Tennessee.
That's it.
Perfect. And Candace, you are, I believe, in Mississippi, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. And I'm not sure, I don't know where Nate is from.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Nate, I can
Oh,
hear you.
yeah. Yeah, I'm from PA.
Excellent. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, welcome here. We are going to go ahead and get started. If you guys want to go ahead and mute yourself, not because you're important, but if you could mute yourself, go ahead. Feel free to save any questions that you have, throw them into the chat, and we'll be sure to chat about them as we have opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a number of slides here that we're going to be going through. And let me see if I can find that share button. There it is. And if somebody could just throw a one into the chat to let me know if you can see my screen okay. All right. Well, I'm going to assume you can. We're
Yes.
going to, oh, perfect. Thanks, Candace. Thanks, Nate. Excellent. Okay. So today, what we've got on the table today is the Google Maps Playbook. What I want to dive deep into is the importance of the Google Maps and obviously the importance of your Google business profile. And this is such a perfect opportunity for you as a shop owner. This is a free tool that Google gives to you. You can leverage this thing. So we're going to dig deep into that. And I would just say this right now. I've also done other trainings on this as well, that if you head over to our YouTube channel, you might find another webinar there with even more resources that I've done in the past around the Google business profile. So if you're not in the top 3 on Google Maps, you're definitely missing opportunities. We call that the Google Map Pack. You want to make sure that your shop is showing up there because, as you know, when people get into an accident, they call their insurance company, they jump onto Google, they try to figure out where to take their car. If you're not showing up there, you're definitely missing opportunities. So, how to get the most out of this session? If you have questions, throw them into the chat. There's just a few of us here today, so we'll definitely be able to get over any questions that you have. I'll be sure to cover them at the end. Also, I recommend pull up your Google business profile for your shop and start examining it as we go through this and be like, oh boy, I didn't even know it had this option. Yeah, I'm going to try to lay this out as clearly as I can for you, give you as many resources as I can to help you be successful with this. And let's go to the next slide. There we go. What we're going to cover off today, some of the latest updates in the Google Map listing, some of the biggest issues that's preventing you from ranking at your shop, our proven model for ranking in the 3-pack, and some best tools to summarize and automate the heavy lifting. Just a little bit about me. If you have not been following me, I grew up in an auto body repair family, managed the family shop for quite a number of years, and in 2023 founded BodyShop Marketing. I've also written a little book called The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Auto Body Shops. So if any of you would like that book, feel free to message me. I'd be happy to mail you one. I've got them here, happy to give you one, or you can jump onto Amazon and also buy it there. I've done a few speaking gigs around the country, Okaba, CCA. Body Shop Marketing is a member of the SCRS. Just a shout out to SCRS, a great organization. Also a member of ABAT and Okaba, which are the Texas and the Oklahoma Auto Body Associations. All right, do Google Maps still matter? This is a great question, and I'm just going to give you a few things here to think about. Does SEO matter? Does the Google Maps matter? 100% they do. So as you know, we have a few different avenues that people can find you on Google. You have the paid searches where people are paying Google ads to be in the sponsored spot. Well, 71% of the clicks are still going to the Google Maps and the local organic. A lot of people mistrust the sponsored ads and they scroll down. So you want to make sure that your shop is showing up there. And I don't think any of my slides address this, but I know right now everybody's talking about AI, and AI is definitely here. I'm not trying to minimize that. I've done some webinars on that as well. It's here. It's something that we need to be thinking about. That being said, from a local business search viewpoint, Google is still the dominant player. So we want to make sure that we're leveraging both. And obviously today we're diving into the Google Maps part. Inside of the Google Maps, so remember a little bit ago I mentioned the map pack, which is those top 3. Here's a little bit of statistics that is interesting and very enlightening as to who gets the calls and the clicks. So around 40% of the clicks and calls goes to position number 1, and around 19% of the calls and clicks go to position number 2, and around 10% of the calls and clicks go to number 3. So you can see how rapidly that tapers off, definitely showing the importance of being in the number 1 position. The resounding answer to this question, do Google Maps matter? 100% they still matter. Here is a ranking report that is just showing the difference of how a shop can be ranking when they're putting energy into this or when they're not. Also, here's just a few I just have a couple illustrations from a couple clients of ours of how many calls are coming in from the Google Business Profile, which is directly coming in from the Google Maps. So as you can see here on this illustration, 51 calls in a month. Here we have another one, 26 phone calls. So 100% Google Maps drives calls. We see that across the board. So don't sleep on this opportunity. It's something you can definitely leverage on your own. Even you don't have to have a science degree to do this. All right, some of the biggest changes in the last 12 months. The Google Business Profile is becoming more and more important. It's replacing the website in some ways. Now, please don't misunderstand me. The website is still important. It's not like that is going anywhere anytime soon. Also, Google is leveraging AI to enforce policy on the Google Business Profiles. Reviews and posts are influencing the visibility and conversion. Set it and forget it. Profiles are quickly losing ground. All right, so just to explain, just to make sure we're all on the same page, here is a slide showing us the different basically opportunities that Google gives us. So as you can see, this is on a desktop, and mobile is very similar. At the very top, we have a sponsored ad for the search. that is a Google ad. And then we have the Google Maps section, which is where your Google business profile shows up. And then below that, we have all the organic search results that are showing up there. You really want to own the local search results, just like this illustration shows. So B&J Body Shop, they're number one in the maps. And then right below the maps, they're also number one in the first spot there in the Google searches. All right, let's talk a little bit about what could be hurting your ranking on maps. Here's a few of them. This is not all inclusive. Possibly you don't have enough reviews across the internet. And this isn't necessarily just on the Google business profile. Maybe it's your Google business profile needs to be optimized. Maybe you have the incorrect business categories on the Google business profile. Maybe you have inconsistent name, address, phone number profiles. Or maybe your website's not mobile friendly, or even the performance of your website can hinder this in your rankings on the map. So here's a resource I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a QR code here in a minute where you can scan and grab this. Basically, this is lists of keywords that you want to ensure that your shop is ranking for. What we see in the industry is around 80% of people are still searching in the auto body topic and around 20% in the collision repair topic. Oh, I'm sorry, I went the wrong direction. There we are. So you definitely want to think about the keywords that people are potentially searching when they're looking for your shop. And like I just mentioned, auto body is by far the predominant one that you want to work on. Also, if you have any specific services that are like real money makers for you, make sure you include them as part of your keyword strategy. Also, add local intent modifiers like near me or your city, county, nearby communities. Make sure that you're giving that local intent. And also, here again, just to reiterate, make sure that your primary categories are set up and things like that. So like I mentioned, here's the QR code for that keyword list. If I remember correctly, this QR code simply takes you to a Google Doc, which you can copy and use at your convenience. And if you all right, let's carry on here. So here's a formula for getting ranked in the Google Maps. This includes a few different aspects, and I'm not going to try to get too deep into this, but I would like to give you obviously things that you can take away. We have technical SEO, on-page SEO, which is all portion of your website, and then also leveraging your Google business profile. So this trust signals that we want to send to Google. We want Google to know that you are the best shop in your area to send people to. They want to know if you are the best option. So obviously there's a few different ways you can do this. You want to be building brand authority across multiple platforms, leveraging your website, your Google business profile, your CarWise account, your Yelp account, and any different online directories. You want to be building that brand authority. Verified account, make sure that you've claimed and verified your Google business profile. Very elementary. I'm sure you've done that. Also, be sure to be collecting reviews for the Google business profile. I would also encourage you to be collecting some for Yelp. As little as I like Yelp, it's still a good opportunity to be getting some Yelp reviews. Potentially you use CarWise, you're leveraging those reviews. Review velocity also plays into this. Google isn't just looking at the amount of reviews you have, they're looking at the flow that is coming in. So you want to keep a consistent flow of reviews coming into your website. Also, back-end engagement on your Google business profile. So if you have your profile pulled up, I would encourage you just have a look when is the last time you added any new images to your Google business profile? You should be consistently adding images there every month. I would say at the very least every month, every couple weeks, as you get some new pictures, upload them to the Google business profile. How are you doing replying to the reviews? There's also a feature, and I think we'll dive into this a little bit deeper on the call here, post updates, where you can be posting updates. And it's a great place to be leveraging the signals you can send to Google and the keywords that you can be leveraging there. Also, making sure all your hours are up to date. Let's say you were closed for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Make sure your hours are up to date. Complete the profile, your business categories, your business description, logo, cover images. Those are all so key. All right. So it looks like I probably went a little in depth early, but this slide is basically very elementary. Just make sure, this is obviously the first step. You got to make sure you claim your Google business profile. So believe it or not, I have seen a situation where multiple shops don't even have a Google business profile. That is it's a shame, because this is a free opportunity to be getting your name online. Okay. So some of the basics as well. Make sure you put your name there. You want to keep this consistent with whatever your shop is called. Maybe it's Elite Auto Body Works. Make sure you have your full name there in the business name category. In the address, you want to make sure that's consistent with everywhere else. Google is really fussy about this. So it can be as simple as this. If the actual address is like S 618 road, make sure you have S 618 road there. Don't put South 618 road. I know that sounds silly, but you really want to be very careful with making sure your address is consistent across the internet. Put your phone number there. It's best to use a local number. Google is not real keen on 1-800 numbers here in this number. Your website, your hours, make sure that's all up to date. And next would be make sure, and I think I have an arrow pointing at this. Yes, I do. Here in your Google business profile, there's an mistake that I see happen time and again is people put auto repair shop as their primary business category. Ensure that you have auto body shop as your primary business category, because auto repair shop is a mechanic shop. There are some subcategories, and I'm just going to shoot from the hip here. I don't have them listed off in front of me, but Google has, I believe it's around 4 subcategories that will work. There's one, I believe it's auto dent repair, and one about auto body mechanic. And boy, there's one other one. And of course, I'm not thinking of it right now, but there's around 4 of them that you can add as subcategories. But your primary one you want to ensure is your auto body shop. And of course, be sure to write a thorough description. I believe Google gives you like around 1,000 characters you can put in there. Leverage all of that. Put the communities you serve, put the keywords that you want to rank for, like auto body repair shop, auto collision shop near me. Those kinds of keywords can go into your description. Of course, make sure it's written nicely, because Google is also checking that out. They don't want just a list of keywords there in the description. That's going to be a problem. So make sure it's written nicely. You can, if you use AI to help you write stuff, AI will help you write a nice description if you give it the right information, obviously. Also, make sure your social media channels are entered in here in your Google business profile as well. This just helps to send trust signals to Google that you are legitimate. All right, let's talk a little bit about photos. So I mentioned this before. Make sure you're uploading photos of your facility, of your team, of your office, of work that's been done. This sends signals to Google that this is an active listing that's worthy of ranking higher. And Google loves what the consumer loves, and consumers love photos. So make sure you're leveraging that to the max. Get Google reviews. I'm sure you've heard this before. They still are important. They're not the only piece to the puzzle of this, but they're definitely a part of it. So make sure you're collecting reviews, asking people if they're willing to support your business, and help out that way. I think I have a few. Okay, you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit about this. First of all, Here's a study that's been done on the importance of replying to Google reviews. So here again, another problem that often happens. I know you guys are busy. You're shop owners, you run shops. You are not sitting there at your computer just waiting to reply to a Google review, but please take the time to reply to Google reviews. As this study shows, consumers are 41% more likely to use a business that responds to all of its reviews than a business that doesn't respond to them. But so don't just respond to the nice ones. Don't just respond to the negative ones. Respond to all of them. Give them some thoughtful reply. Here again, go ahead and leverage the search terms you want to rank for. So let's say I'll just throw out an example for you. So you could say something like this. Hey, Candace, thank you for using our auto body repair shop for your collision repair. Right there, I used 2 sets of search terms in my reply. Here's just a few ideas of how you could be collecting reviews. You could be sending them emails. You could be asking on the phone. You could be asking in person. Some shops have a little tap device that the person can just hold their phone up to it. But most people aren't just going to do that without you actually asking. So don't hesitate. Maybe it's a thank you card that gets put in a little gift in the car that makes it easy. It has a QR code that you can scan and sends them right over to your Google business profile to leave the review. You could be asking on social media if you're actively using Facebook for any happy customers, family, or friends to leave you reviews. There's a number of different ways there. Here's a way that you really don't want to do. So it could be tempting to be like, oh man, I need to get some reviews. There are companies out there that will sell you Google business profile reviews. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Highly discourage you from it. Google is going to, if Google highly likely will catch you. And if they do, it's not going to be good for your Google business profile and your shop. So here is the feature that I mentioned before, and posting regularly to your shop's Google business profile. If you have your Google business profile pulled up in front of you and you have never used this feature, you probably won't see it there unless you're logged into the admin section. So if you're logged into the admin section, you'll see an area there where you can add, I believe it's called a post update. What you can do there is you can add a picture, and then it gives you a section where you can write some content that you can plug in there. And here again, include your main keyword phrases, include a picture of the shop, of something that's going on there. I would say you can't do this too much. Go ahead and do it once a day if you have time, or if somebody on your team has time. Leverage the Google Business Profile update area. And here's another one that I don't believe I have a slide on, but I am going to, you know what? I'm going to hold that thought for just a second. I believe I have illustrations here of a few things you could be doing. So obviously you can be highlighting your services. You could even be using things like the SCRS has an amazing category of small videos they've put together over the years that are free for shops to use. You can be putting them into your Google business profiles to help educate consumers, to help send signals to Google. The thought that I had that I was going to share, and I don't believe I have a slide on, I'm going to throw it in here. If you are in your Google business profile on the admin side, you will also see a spot where you can add products. So what I would do if I was in your shoes is I would start productizing some of your services. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are OEM certified for Fords. So you could make a product that is like Ford certified collision repair. And then it gives you a section where you can put in 1,000 characters. You can describe all about Ford certified collision repair and why somebody should be picking your shop. You can add a nice picture there in the product. You can add a link to your website in the product. So if you have an OEM certified collision page, you can link it to that. Don't sleep on that one. Use the products that, and if you don't have any certifications, here's something else you can do. You can just go and say, hey, auto body repair in Kingston, Tennessee. I have no idea if that's even a town. I probably just made up a town in Tennessee. You can productize your services. So I don't know if that's making sense. If that makes sense, maybe just throw a 1 in the chat. I know I haven't been asking for any feedback from you, so I'm assuming I haven't put you to sleep quite yet. But that is a good opportunity. And I wish I had a slide on that, but I'm pretty sure I don't. So I just throw that in there now. Don't sleep on the products. Of course, your Google business profile is giving you some feedback as to the website clicks that are coming in through it, the direction requests, the call views that are getting clicked. All right, so just a bit of a summary. Make sure you're adding photos, collecting reviews, responding to them, leveraging the Google posts. Those are just a few of the things that you can be doing on your Google business profile. All right, so let's move on to number 2. So building citations and consistency with your name, your address, and your phone number. So there are lots of citations across the internet / online directories. It's really key to make sure that you have a consistent name, address, and phone number across these directories. And I'll just throw this in here now. As we see AI search becoming more prevalent, it is more important than ever to make sure that these citations are set up correctly across the internet, wherever your shop is listed. So ensure that that is set up. There are tools that, and I'll give you a list of tools here in a minute that you can use to dig deeper into that. Also, there are a few companies out there, there's about 6 of them, that we call aggregators. And basically what they do is they take business information and then they push it out to all kinds of other online directories. And there's like Data Axle, Foursquare. These are another good opportunity to make sure that your information is getting out, those citations are getting out onto the internet. Here are some tools for citations. I would say all of them are pretty decent. We personally, here at Body Shop Marketing, we use Bright Local. They are really good tools. So if you're wanting to dig into your citations, I'm sorry, I don't know if any of these offer free services, but there's Gex, there's Bright Local, there's Moz, there's White Spark. You can use any of those to check into your citations. Or if you like, go ahead and you can schedule some time with me right here and we can check into your citations for you. Okay, just a little bit about citation best practices. Your Google business profile. So we've been talking about that before. That one I would manually claim and optimize. Don't let a other platform control that for you. You want to manage that yourself. Use a tool like Yext for other top citation listings, or Bright Local like we just talked about. Get listed on some major data aggregators, leverage tools. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. This is diving into your website. So this is also important as a part of the puzzle for your Google Maps ranking. You want to make sure that your website is optimized on site. This is key to the signals that you're sending to Google. And I know we've got a lot of fine print here, and I'm not going to try to re-say it all to you, but basically what we want to do is the on-page optimization. It needs to be dialed in for the keywords that you're looking to rank for. There's a lot of different things that you can be looking at, like your titles, your H1s, your meta descriptions. I'm not going to bore you with all those details, but that is key to also ranking on your Google Maps. Here's another one. So your off-page SEO optimization. This is off your website. So here again, your Google business profile is part of that. The citations across the internet are part of that. Building backlinks to your website is part of this. So I'm sure you've all heard of leveraging blog posts as part of your content strategy on your website. Blogging is a great thing to be doing. Unfortunately, blogging is in and of itself just doesn't quite cut it anymore. We're going to talk a little bit about another way that this can be looked at. as you are building authority with Google, you want to be sending out signals to Google. So the problem that has happened is the internet has grown exponentially, and Google isn't even crawling all of the internet anymore. So your website might not even be getting crawled. So you want to ensure that's happening. You want to be setting up signals that are going out to Google, and a great way to be doing that is using press release software. And I see one of my photos is not loading here on this. I'm not sure why not. Anyways, it's just a little illustration showing the different signals that Google's looking for when they are looking at what we call the acronym EEAT. So it stands for experience, documented topical experience. So in your situation, obviously, it's auto body repair and collision repair. The second E is expertise, quality structured content that shows that you guys have expertise. The A stands for authority. So is this a high authority website that the information is coming from? And obviously trust then is the T, and that is the signals, the link signals that are coming. Is there trust there that Google can trust the data that's coming from your online presence? Here is a little bit about a periodic table around SEO. On the left-hand side, we have content. That's all around content. So we've got quality, keywords, freshness, answers, and that answers one. I'm just pulling out a few of them here, guys. Answers one, that's huge, especially with the AI searches becoming more and more prevalent. We want to make sure that you guys are answering common questions on your website. Next, we have architecture. So how the website's built. Then we have HTML. Here again, this is largely around the structure, how the website is set up. Trust, links, the user experience on your website. Then we have some of the toxins and also some of the emerging fields. All right, so as we start wrapping this up, here are some of the local SEO ranking factors, and we have 3 of them here. Proximity is one of them. And basically what proximity is the distance from the searcher to your shop. Now, obviously, you can't control where that person is searching from, but let's say they're 5 miles away from your shop. That is the proximity, 5 miles. And Google is constantly evaluating that when somebody searches for auto body repair shop near me, and then it is deciding, okay, so do we show this shop here that's 5 miles away, this one that's 10 miles away, this one that's 1 mile away? Highly likely the shop that is 1 mile away, unless there's lots of things against it, will be at the top. Now, not always, but that proximity definitely plays into it. Also, your relevance plays into it. So if somebody's searching for like brake repair near me, that really shouldn't be relevant with all the signals that you've been sending to Google on what you want to rank for. So you want to make sure your relevance is all around the auto body repair, auto body shop, collision repair on your Google business profile, on your website, wherever you are online. And then, of course, your prominence is another big ranking factor. This ties into your reviews, your reputation online, your mentions, the links that have been created over time. So those are 3 big factors for your local SEO. Here is a summary that is jam-packed with information. I don't know that I'm going to spend a ton of time here, but we talked about your on-page on your website. We talked a lot about your Google business profile, how you can be leveraging that, also leveraging the signals that are being sent out from your Google business profile, your website, your social media. And lastly, I'm just going to, again, give you the opportunity to grab any of the resources. So here's the keyword list. If you didn't get it before, here's the QR code for it. Here is the QR code for if you're wanting us to check out your citations, see how they're ranked, how your citations are looking, which would also be part of your, sorry, I'm just going to mute you, Dave. So feel free to grab any time with me if you like. Are there any questions, any big takeaways that you guys would like to talk about? Happy to chat about any questions you might have. Feel free to unmute yourself or put them into the chat. And if you don't have any, that's okay too. Candace and Dave, I see you made comments here on the chat that you would like a book. I would love to send you a book, but I don't know where to send it to. So if you could maybe private message me or send me an email, happy to definitely send you one 100%. But I will need an address to be able to do that. Alrighty, guys. Well, I appreciate your time. Steve, Candace, Nate, Dave, Bobby, thank you for taking the time. I hope this was a little bit of value to you. Hopefully you have at least one little nugget that you can take away and be like, you know what, that's something we can work on.
Always. Thank you, Daniel.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Steve.
We'll see you guys.
You betcha. Take care, Ann, and we will catch you guys on the other side. Thanks again for coming. Take care.